it's hard for you to understand me because you haven't been where I've been. It's hard for you to understand me because you haven't been where I've been. Giving a great shout out to the YouTube family, thanking the Lord for this blessed and beautiful day. Another day it is. A beautiful Saturday. Thanking the Lord for it. I titled that for a reason. There are a lot of people who criticize others, talk bad about them, and telling them how they should do this and do that, but they ain't never been in that person's shoes. It's an old saying, some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and some was born just trying to find a spoon. Mm. You haven't been where I've been, so that's why you don't understand what I'm talking about. See, that's another reason why Jesus was so compassionate. He was so compassionate that he had that love, that sympathy for people because everybody don't get delivered at the same time. And I was telling a brother this earlier on the street. He's fighting with, trying to do right. And I say, brother, one thing about it, don't nobody change overnight. And I'm not here to make up no excuses for nobody. What you do is what you do. What you have done in the past is the past. How you live your life is how you live your life. But most people can't relate because they ain't been where you been. Some people didn't get to go to college. Some people don't have degrees. Some people was born into the world poor. Some was born in the projects. Some grew up and watched their mama get killed. Some watched their daddy get killed. Some don't have fathers at home, period. And when you think about all the issues in life and how some people always look down on others because they had it made growing up. See, when you have it made growing up, it's hard for you to relate to somebody that was poor. If you ain't never had a damn dime in your pocket, then you know what I'm talking about. If you was poor growing up, then you know what I'm talking about. And you got people sitting around talking about, yeah, man, I feel what you're going through. Oh, no, they don't. No, they don't. If you ain't been poor, you don't know nothing about being poor. If you can't figure out where you're going to get your next meal, them hard times when you scrambling trying to figure out what to do next, you don't know what I'm talking about. See, that's why I look at this whole thing about we in the recession. Ain't nothing new to me. Ain't nothing new to me at all. I mean, I rejoice, I smile because God ain't never stopped providing for me. I heard people steady crying about, oh, how things are and they getting worse and worse. But if you have your trust and faith in God, and if you are living your life the way you're supposed to be living your life, things should be shaping up. But if you ain't never went down that road, then it's hard for people to relate to what you were talking about. I know a lot of cats around me grew up without mama and daddy, and grandma raised them, and grandma been dead for years. I know a lot of people that sold dope to their own mama. I know people that shot at their own kinfolks and pretty much killed them. I know people that I grew up with that strung out on dope now. They don't even know who I am. And that's a sad sight to see. And like I said, I'm not making up no excuses for nobody because there is always a better way. You only run out of options when you stop looking for an option. A lot of people want the easy way out. So I heard too many brothers saying it's too easy for me to get on that corner and slang these rocks than for me to go get a 9 to 5 and clock in. That's just your way of doing things. It's always a better way. See, me, I don't want to be on the block looking over my shoulder, worrying about the police, taking a chance on going to prison, taking a chance on missing out on life, missing out on freedom. It's always a better way. This is why I talk to so many people on the outside because mostly the ones that I grew up with and I know them, and even the ones that's way older than me, I talk to them and tell them it's always a better way. See, we find out in this life most people don't want to struggle. In reality, when they look at it, they still struggling anyway. I mean, how long can you keep doing the same thing and getting the same results? But if you don't understand somebody and you quick to criticize them, talk bad about them when you wasn't all that yourself. You might need to do a self-check. So I always tell people, when you get out on your own and deal with life, see, I learned at an early age how tough life was. I wasn't caught up in what everybody else was doing. I started seeing the struggle. I started being in the struggle. I started seeing myself how it feel to have them lights turned off when all the utilities ain't on at the same time. When you got to go knock on somebody's door that's close to you and ask them for some money to next week, to the week after. When you get tired of bothering people, when you feel like you have no way to turn, and then you lose everything. And then you find yourself in a dark place, getting angry at life. But if you ain't been down that road, if you ain't never ate out no trash can, if you ain't never had to walk a long way without having transportation, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't been through it, it's hard to relate to that. That's why people that grew up poor, a lot of them appreciate the small things. See, what's small and what's big to somebody else is something else. See, what I call little blessings, people be saying that, man, that's all you thankful for? Like health and strength. Mm. Like a roof over my head, like food in the refrigerator. I am grateful and very thankful for that, because those are the important things I need in life. So I ain't got time to be focusing on a set of rims. I ain't got time to be focusing on putting a whole lot of jewelry in my mouth. That's what others want to do. Fine, more power to you. But see, I learned growing up that there are way more important things in life that I need to put my money on. You got to learn how to be a great steward. You got to learn how to just, man, make a dramatic change in life. But like I said, it don't happen overnight. That's why I can relate to folks on the block. I can talk to them. I don't pump my chest up and think I'm higher than somebody else. No, I'm only a step from where I used to be. And if you ain't careful, you will wind up being where you used to be. And I don't care how much strength and you think you got on your own, how tough you might think you are. I'm looking at what's going on nowadays very closely. People are killing others. That love of money, see, money running short now. But I believe there's a lot of crookedness going on with this money in America. Somebody else putting their name on it. Because when you start lying about a lot of things, and I'm not talking bad about nobody, I'm just speaking what's real. But when you can't find answers to certain things, see, if more people will put their trust in God and not in man, it'll be a totally different ball game. It'll be totally different. But I'm talking about when you have been beat down and stressed out in life, and when you didn't have nowhere to go, when you lost your home, when you had to go ride in a car with somebody else and leave when they had to leave, when you feel like you are a burden on somebody else and you would rather sleep on the street than to bother somebody because of your pride. I've been used to doing this. I'm the man. I'm the woman. I need to do this. I need to do that. I can't depend on nobody else. I'm going to tell you this, people. This is another reason why we need each other. You don't know what's going to happen next. Sometimes you got to put your pride to the side and realize that you need help. You are struggling. Sad thing is, family don't stick with family now. And the even sadder thing is, churches ain't getting along. People inside of the church fussing and fighting with each other. If you ain't never been broke down, wore out, feel like you have lost everything, see, it's hard for people to relate with you. That's why I can talk to PP Drawings. He can relate. I can scream at my boy Admitted Man. He can relate. K-Ray, we grew up in it. Me and K-Ray can sit down all day and all night and just talk about things that we saw and went through growing up as youngsters. From dope on down. When people will kill just for that dollar, like the song say. when a woman will sell her precious body, like the song say. And there have been some women that have been delivered from what they used to do. Men also. I heard this woman tell this lady at the store the other day. She said, yeah, you was the one that was stripping. You used to be on that pole every night faithfully, having them men rubbing out on your body. And she said, baby, let me tell you something. You ain't been where I've been. She said, I got 4 kids. All their daddies is locked up. She said, I had to do what I had to do. And I stripped and I paid my way through college. I raised these kids, went through college, and I'm doing what I got to do to survive. She put herself through school. And once she got to school, she said, that's why I don't strip no more. She said, I know I was wrong, but she said, sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do to get to where you got to get. And she told that young girl, if you ain't never walked in my shoes, then baby, you ain't going to relate to me. And have a blessed day. See, it's a lot of folks like that. It's a lot of folks like that. Heard this other brother telling the youngster, you don't want to go to that pen. He told him about that penitentiary. He said, you think you hard on these streets. He said, you ain't been where I've been. He told that youngster, I can talk about the penitentiary because I did 15 years. Hard, day to day, out of my life, which caused me to miss out on my life. He said, if you think you hard, get in that prison. They going to show you who hard. He told that youngster, you don't want to see men being raped. You don't want to see nobody jumping on you and beating on you, stabbing you. See, I got kinfolks in the penitentiary that I write all the time. If you ain't been down that road, you ain't going to relate. And you shouldn't want to go to prison. You should want to do right. Sad thing is, most of us black men are all, I mean, not all of them, but most of them are on their way to prison or already in prison or on the street selling dope. This life we live, it ain't no joke. God never said it was going to be easy. That's why people can't relate to you. I used to have this white lady on my old job that used to always come at me hard because on the job I was on, they used to let you, take out a loan out of your own money. You have to pay it back. And I was in there every week. And she had the nerve to come up to me one day and she said, I don't mean to be in your business, but what do you do with your money? She said, you always in there taking out a loan every week. You know what I told her? I said, I dare you to trade paychecks with me. See, I wasn't making but $420 for 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. I said, I dare you give me your check and you take mine. I said, mine won't even pay your car note. I said, I am trying to get a car. I said, let me tell you something, Miss Lady. If you ain't never been poor and in my shoes, you're not going to relate to what I'm talking about because I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I have to borrow money from myself and pay it back. I said, this little check that I get, once I pay my rent, I got to borrow money just to put with this to pay my rent because it don't even cover my rent, and that's for 2 weeks. And I said, you got the nerve to ask me, what am I doing with my money? That ain't even including paying bills and everything else I was dealing with. I said, I dare you trade checks with me while you making all this buku's money. While I'm making barely $16,000 a year if it was that much. I said, gotta be careful what you say to people. And I believe she came at me like that for a reason. And I said, if you ain't been where I've been, then you're not going to relate to where I came from, come from. She said, you must be doing something. No, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not getting paid enough, and I am struggling. See, I'm not scared to admit when I am struggling. If you don't know about a struggle, then you're not going to relate to what I'm saying in the video. Why people go around here, oh man, get going off on folks. They can't relate. It takes certain people to understand what you are going through, what you are dealing with. If you ain't never had to deal with the police and the judges in this crooked system, it's hard to relate. Why they already call you guilty before even giving you a chance to speak your side. You're not going to relate. With that being said, y'all be blessed. Take care. Love you.